All right, now moving ahead, there's another important statement that has come in from Donald Trump. He says US President has renewed his call for America to take control of Greenland, warning that if the US does not act, Russia or China will. Speaking about Air Force One, President Donald Trump warned that if the United States did not take Greenland, Russia or China would. He described Greenland's defense as consisting of virtually nothing and pointed to the presence of Russian and Chinese naval forces in the region. Trump acknowledged potential tensions with NATO but insisted that the alliance needed the United States more than the US needed them. Denmark, which covers Greenland along with Greenlanders themselves, have rejected the idea of US control, warning that it could destabilize NATO. Trump, however, reiterated that the US would acquire Greenland, stating that it would happen one way or the other. Let's hear.
We don't take Greenland, Russia or China will, and I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen.
They can offer you,
yeah, sure, I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Are you okay if that compromises NATO? If NATO effectively ceases to exist?
I'm the one that saved NATO. I'm the one that got them to pay 5% of GDP. Wait a minute. It was 2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
All right, joining me in this discussion now is retired Lieutenant Colonel Himanshi Singh, Defense and International Relations Analyst, and she joins us from New Delhi. Thanks very much, Lieutenant Colonel Singh, for joining me in this discussion. Of course, Trump repeating time and again how US needs to take over Greenland to prevent Russia and China from doing it. How does that make it any better as far as the control of the autonomous territory is concerned?
Thank you, Kriti. When President Trump says that if we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take it, he's not making a casual statement. He's articulating the hard-nosed geopolitical anxiety and, which is rooted in Arctic militarization, great power competition and future resource control. So let's first establish the critical fact that Greenland is not a vacant space. It's a strategic space, and it is an autonomous territory with Denmark of Kingdom of Denmark, and a NATO ally. So any notion of taking Greenland by force, coercion or strategic pressure will fundamentally violate the international law, which these days Trump is not caring about. And it is the most difficult thing post World War II. So we have to assess the situation that does Russia have interest in the Arctic? Yes, because it has been remilitarization the Arctic, it's building bases and it's deploying its missiles and defense systems. Then China, does it have ambitions there? Yes. So China is a self-declared near Arctic state seeking influence through scientific missions, infrastructure investment, rare earth access, and dual use of technology. So this is an influence building, not a territorial seizure. So where this argument breaks down is that neither Russia nor China can take Greenland without triggering the NATO response. Whereas United States already has its bases in Thule Air Base and Pituffik space bases. So these are very critical nodes of America, and they have their missile warning systems, space surveillance system. So Greenland is already embedded with the Western defense planning. So what is this statement all about? It is about the strategic insecurity in the changing world order. Arctic is becoming a geopolitical frontier due to melting ice and access to rare earth minerals, missile trajectories which are passing over the polar region, and space and hypersonic warfare conditions. So when he's framing it, reflects the geopolitical mindset applied to 21st century realities. And this idea is coming from a security scenario where you want to own a place rather than having the strategic alliance. In today's world, actually, the influence does not require annexation. It requires alliance management, economic credibility, technological leadership, and respect for sovereignty, which Donald Trump does not believe in. So when they say that they have to have the annexation of Denmark, it will have deeper impact. So let me be clear, it is not the real danger of Russia taking over, China taking over Greenland. It is normalizing the language of territorial entitlement, which weakens every rule America helped to create. So great power do not secure their future by sounding like imperial competitors. They secure by strengthening alliances and not by undermining them. In geopolitics perception, this statement actually show anxiety and not dominance. So let's see. The Arctic will be defined by future power balance, but it will be shaped by law, cooperation, and strategic restraint, not by who claims it first. Because if you claim it first, then you're actually leading the world to a very difficult situation. Kriti, over to you.
Thanks very much, Lieutenant Colonel, for joining me in this discussion. Unfortunately, that's all the time that I have. And with that,